The Great War was the most devastating war Europe had seen for many years. Surely the victorious powers will find a way to fairly punish the central powers and restore an equal balance of power to the continent. Here's the rules. For a change to be implemented, it must get a majority of votes, so 5 or above. The French and British votes are worth 2 points each, whereas other powers are only worth 1. And hey, if you want to take part in similar events, join the Discord in the description. I'm doing many events like this in the near future, plus it'd be nice to just have you around. The first proposal for a strong Polish state came from the British representative, who proposed a Poland which owns Königsberg, Ruthenia and Lithuania, among other lands. However, the Romanian diplomat demanded more Ukrainian lands should be given to Poland, and that Romania must gain lands as well in order to gain their support. These demands, although questioned at times, were met, and the powers had agreed on the Polish borders. When speaking of Austria-Hungary, both Romania and Italy immediately made claims. However, Italy also suggests the splitting of the empire among ethnic lines, with the Austrian and Hungarian states being under Italian supervision. Another offer was proposed that the Yugoslavs should unite and Germany shall annex Austria. This, on top of the Italian and Romanian annexations, settles the whole empire. However, Italy wanted compensation for not having supervision of Austria and Hungary. They demanded an independent Slovenian state, a demilitarized German border, and German East Africa. The British would agree with these demands for the annexation of German Papua New Guinea and the German Pacific. However, the Romanian diplomats were outraged. Germany had lost the war, yet they were gaining massive European lands. They demanded an independent Austria and a Czechoslovak Sudetenland. This faced backlash from British, Italian, and even Russian officials who offered Romania lands from Bulgaria and control over Hungary. Eventually, Romania accepted, as long as Germany suffered land concessions elsewhere. For the past 2 conferences, the French diplomat had actually been absent. The annexation of the Saarland and Baden-Württemberg would satisfy the French as compensation. The British agreed to the annexation of the Saarland and offered a 5-year occupation of Baden-Württemberg. All agreed with this as long as there was a demilitarized Franco-German border which extended to Belgium. The British wished to split the Ottoman Empire based on the Sykes-Picot Agreement. The one issue with the new British proposal is that the Russians didn't like the idea of British Constantinople. They ordered more land and that Constantinople would be internationally occupied. This divulged the British threatening the White Russian diplomat. As they were losing the civil war, they had less power in the discussion. The British offered heavier support as long as they gained Constantinople and Afghanistan, to which the Russians obliged. Earlier, the fates of many formerly Russian lands were lightly discussed, but now they must decide on what truly would happen. First, the matter of a Baltic Union, minus Lithuania, was spoken about. The White Russians agreed with the Baltic Union independence, as long as they would regain the Baltics after the Civil War, to which the British replied with, "You may try." The British didn't like the idea of White Russia invading the Baltic Union and began negotiating with the Soviets for a better deal. The Soviets agreed to maintain the independence of all proposed states for pro-communist trade deals and support in the Civil War, which the British greatly agreed with. The French also made deals with the Soviets, and the three agreed on the borders of the newly declared states. Throughout the conference, Italy had been a solid British ally. The British secretly wanted to weaken the French and Russians as much as possible, and Italy agreed with everything the British were proposing publicly. However, now the French offered the Italians a stronger alliance through the Galley Agreement. The Galley Agreement supported both Italian and French expansion into Spain and Yugoslavia respectively. However, the British would support Spain with any invasion, and the Romanians spoke clearly with upholding Yugoslav independence from Italy. Although the agreement changed no borders, it sets in place a frightening future for Europe. The German Empire could obviously not be allowed to remain. German East Africa was given to the Italians, and the Pacific and German Papua New Guinea were given to the British. But what was to be done with the rest of German Africa? the British diplomat requested Togoland and Namibia whilst offering Cameroon to the French for their support, which, surprisingly, worked. The new borders of Europe are extremely different to our timeline. As such, the future of this Europe will be very different. I will have a video up eventually on my personal theory of the future of this Europe. Please consider that me uploading is a rare occurrence, as most of my works are either in long documents or maps I just can't be bothered to animate. Now consider subscribing. Now consider joining the Discord. Now consider the fact that the video is over.